Hey guys, welcome to another movie review. Once again, I have a kind of a delayed review here. This film I think even came out like on October 1st or something like that. I guess the reason why this specific movie got delayed for me reviewing it as long as it did is my girlfriend's a big Addams Family fan, so it only seemed right that by the time I got around to seeing it, that she was with me seeing it and things like that. So that's the reason why kind of this review is as late as it is. So I apologize for those who were hoping to hear my opinion on this one at a way earlier time than when it was. But in this new movie, you guys, the Addams go to a science fair at the beginning of the movie, and of course, Wednesday Addams, their daughter, has this huge science presentation that she thinks she's going to win. In typical public school fashion, everybody who participated in the event, quote unquote, won the event, and this gets Wednesday really upset. But as a result, she gets the attention of a guy who attended the event virtually, who's claiming that Wednesday might be his real daughter, so to speak. Throughout the course of this movie, the Addams go on this family road trip, and Wednesday's kind of doing her own research of her own to make sure that she really is a member of the Addams family and not this daughter of this scientist who attended this science fair event. And throughout the course of this film, the Addams try to make Wednesday feel more welcome into the family. They feel like things have happened over the years that made her feel as distant as she has been that kind of prevent her from participating in their own family events and things like that. So throughout the course of the film, Wednesday has to figure out who exactly she's the daughter of. Is she the daughter of this guy that she met at the science fair? Is she truly a member of the Addams family? Does this road trip kind of fix anything between the Addams and Wednesday herself? And that's essentially what the film is about. So, overall, guys, I thought this film was okay. It's important to note too that I thought the previous version of Addams Family, I think that came out in 2019, I didn't think was anything spectacular either. When it comes to Addams Family, for me, I think for me personally, I prefer the two live action 90s films, just called Addams Family and Addams Family Values, that had like Christina Ricci and Christopher Lloyd and all of them. I also liked the old animated show in the 80s and 90s back when that was on the air on Cartoon Network. So there's been certain interpretations of the Addams Family that I like better than others. As far as being a loyal continuation of that previous film from 2019, I don't think this film does a very good job with that, and it doesn't really add anything new worth mentioning to expanding to this so-called Addams universe that they're making here in these two movies. But let's go over some positives and negatives of things that work about this film and things that don't work out so well with this movie. For my positives and negatives, I thought some of the dialogue was really witty here. Some of the stuff that certain the characters say in certain situations I thought were kind of funny. Um, Uncle Fester has quite a few of them. Wednesday obviously has quite a few of them. Gomez is, being the father of the family and everything like that. He's trying to get everybody kind of in the same room, being happy about something and kind of getting motivated on something. Definitely kind of an Adams take on being happy, so I thought that aspect was kind of accurate as well. So as far as some of the dialogue was concerned, I thought some of the dialogue was pretty witty for the most part throughout the course of this movie. We also get to see more of Wednesday's perspective on things. In the previous film, I guess we get to just see her kind of feeling unconnected to the world and things like that. This time around, I feel like we do kind of get more of her perspective on why she feels like she doesn't fit in, why she doesn't want to come down to dinner, why she doesn't want to do stuff with her dad and her mom and things like that. Um, so it was interesting to kind of get more of her perspective on things in this. So I thought that aspect of the film was handled pretty well as well. Another thing I thought that worked with this movie is I like the use of music in this movie. They definitely incorporate the classic Addams Family music here. I feel like that's something you kind of have to do when you're making an Addams Family property is you kind of have to have that classic trademark Addams Family music whenever you take on an Addams Family project like this. But for my negatives of this movie, though, I thought for the most part it was pretty unimaginative. There really isn't anything about this plot or this story that feels like it jumps off the page and becomes this brilliant animated force of nature. So I thought that aspect of the story was really not very good. I also thought the overall story they picked was just very predictable. You knew exactly where it was going to go. Um, you knew all the things that didn't seem right and things that seemed wrong and things like that. It just imaginatively speaking, I thought this is a very unimaginative movie, unfortunately. Once again, I thought this was a very weak plot for a movie. Sending the Adams on vacation and having this scientist guy that claims to be the father of Wednesday and is turning people into animals, all this stuff, I thought was just not very good and not very amusing for an Adams family plot. And speaking of the plot, too, once again, we have this lawyer character that's just on the Adams the whole movie. He's driving behind them. He's trying to talk with them. He's trying to get DNA samples from Wednesday and things like that. I just was kind of annoyed from the character. Every time he showed up, I was just kind of rolling my eyes and just kind of waiting for the scene to get rid of this character so we can move on and just focus on the Adams again the way it should have been. Kind of an annoying character this time around. There's also this whole subplot about Uncle Fester becoming an octopus. Technically speaking, I guess it does pay off at the end, but I thought the whole thing was just kind of fell flat. Like, you could tell they were just doing it for humor for most of the movie. The whole Fester becoming an octopus thing I thought was just not very good here. And then going on to my next point, most of the jokes in this movie do kind of fall flat for the most part. There's a couple of situations and a couple of places they go where it's like, oh, okay, I could see, something funny coming up of that with the Adams, but for the most part, not a lot of the jokes land. There's just not a lot of great jokes here, unfortunately. So in the humor department, I thought this film kind of fell flat as far as that was concerned. One thing I thought this film could have done a better job with, I think that the two live action films did a much better job with, is putting the Adams around normal people to kind of show their differences and just how drastically different they are from normal people. So like one example, like before the movie started, my girlfriend and I were talking about how in Adams Family Values, how funny it was when Wednesday was sent to summer camp and she was so different from the other girls and she didn't want to go swimming, and when she was in the school play she literally lights the stage on fire and does stuff that actually is kind of funny. And so it's just one of those things where I just felt like I don't know if this film needed a better writer or what, but or maybe just somebody that understood the Adams Family property a little bit better. I just thought the whole thing with sending him on vacation, the scientist is just trying to figure out if this is his kid or not, just wasn't as unimaginative or as funny as sending Wednesday to summer camp or getting Uncle Fester engaged or having a plot involving, I think this is more so the first live action Adams Family movie where they're trying to figure out if Fester is really Fester and not an imposter and things like that. Just things like that. Things that kind of expand the universe, put the Adams in more funnier situations that as a result will give you funnier jokes in the movie and expands the Adams a little bit. Makes them do something different that they're not used to doing and things like that. And then for my last negative point, I thought the villain's motivations were just extremely weak. Um, there's one point in the movie where the character's not even a human character anymore. I just, I really couldn't get behind this villain. I thought it was a very weak plot for the movie. I really didn't get this guy's motivations at all. I just felt like I could understand and guess every possible plot point that was coming along, and there's like no real surprises here, unfortunately. So overall, I'm going to give Adams Family 2 a 7 out of 10. I think if you're a hardcore Adams Family fan, because my girlfriend seemed to really enjoy the movie, I think if you're a really, really hardcore Adams Family fan, I think you'll have a fun time here. Go into this film knowing, though, still at the same time, that I think this is a pretty big drop from quality from what we're used to getting with an Adams Family movie, specifically with the live action films in particular. There's a couple of nice things about it. I just was hoping for a more imaginative screenplay here with a more fun animated movie to go along with the screenplay that could have been more fun. So 7 out of 10 for me. If you're a hardcore Adams Family fan, I think you'll have a fun time here. For everybody else, you can probably skip this one. 7 out of 10. It's an okay movie.